Okay, so let's take a look at the information from the National Hurricane Center to begin this video. Right now, Florence is a tropical storm, so it has weakened because of some wind shear, which is basically changing wind speeds and direction with height, and that's getting into the system and has caused it to weaken. However, it will move back into more favorable conditions and get away from the wind shear, so it will be able to strengthen again. But the problem is, with it being weak right now, that's not good because since it's weak, it's going to be able to more easily go further to the west and northwest since it's a weak system. So that's definitely not a good thing. Right now it's got sustained winds max at 65 miles per hour. It's moving west at 8 miles per hour. See, it's moving, west right now, and part of that is because it's weakened. But we're going to also talk about something else that's going to be important in determining where it goes. Here's a little schematic here. I just googled Bermuda High, but basically I'm trying to show you how you have this high pressure system over in the Atlantic Ocean, or what you call ridging. When you have that there, usually what happens, just in a general sense, any tropical storm or hurricane has to go in this sort of direction. It has to go below the Bermuda High and then follow up around it like so. So this makes it go down, further to the west and then to the northwest in this kind of scenario. And that's what we're going to be seeing, and that's what we got now. We got some strong ridging that's it's even forecast to get even more powerful as we continue forward, and it could be some of the strongest ridging we have seen in the month of September in a long time. So definitely a bad time to have strong ridging in place. That's not a good thing at all. But when you have that kind of situation, you open up opportunity for a hurricane to make it to the eastern coast, because it does not look like any trough or anything trying to come down is going to be able to pick it up in time. It just doesn't look like a good situation. And I will tell you, most of the models have continued to shift further to the west and southwest because of this information with the upper air pattern. So now I'm going to show you a few things I was able to find. So, okay, so we're going to look at some tracks and some of that sort of thing. Let's look at the Euro control run. Now, of course, this is the control run. It's not a mean or anything like that, but we're going to look at that first. This is the Euro control run. Let's see what it does with the system. So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward this. Okay, so today it had it going, it looks like probably right around Myrtle Beach, somewhere in that area around the South Carolina, North Carolina border is what Euro had today. And it's been on the southeast for the past few runs. I think it's been doing that pretty consistently, but has gone down further southwest today, making the landfall around Myrtle Beach. Because I think it showed North Carolina last time, I think. Oh, I can go and look now and see. What did it show? Okay, it had it on the, okay, so the last two runs have kind of had it in the same area around Myrtle Beach, North Carolina, South Carolina border. So the last two runs have done that, and then, but the one before that had North Carolina, but the last two have had it around Myrtle Beach. So that's a big deal because we know how reliable, the Euro is and everything. Now, let's take a look at GFS, which is usually, GFS is usually a weaker model in its skill. But let's take a look and see what, okay, the new one hasn't finished yet, but I could look at the last one. And it's been playing catch up, trying to go further southwest in its runs. And it looks like, the last run had it going up into North Carolina, probably the Outer Banks area there. So that one has continued the southward shift, has caught up to the Euro, trying to catch up to the Euro. Now the CMC, we take a look at this, had it even further south, that's even further south around Savannah there. So, I mean, that is interesting that we're seeing even more southwest shift overall today on these global models systems. Now, let's see. This was the UKMET. So it was basically about the same thing. Yeah, is this the UKMET? Yes. And this is showing the UKMET ensembles. And you can see, I mean, they're all, like, watch the animation again and you'll see. It looks like most of them are going to the southeast, right? So that does not look good there. And I believe that middle line should be the control. I can't even see those color codes, but it should be. And that one looks like it was kind of like the Euro, not in that vicinity. Around Myrtle Beach again. Also, something more reliable to look at is the Euro ensemble members. This is when, it reruns the model with different parameters. It's like about 50 times, I think, to show different possibilities. And you can see the middle one was the control that had it going around Myrtle Beach. And this is hard to see. You might not be able to see this. But basically, more of these models are now hitting land. That's the thing to take away from this. They're all, have moved. They have shifted westward, and now most of them are hitting the land. And we have continued to see this western movement and the Euro ensemble. So, that's definitely not good. That's probably the mean in the middle there, around North Carolina, South Carolina border, somewhere in that general area. So, that's the basic information that we're looking at with all of this. So, we all know that it's early, and we usually see a lot of changes with the models. I mean, we're sitting here, it's the 7th, right? And we're sitting here, the Euro has this coming up like around the 13th, 14th. So we have a long time for this to change. And it's going to change because, the model science with this is just not perfect. And it's going to change. So we're going to be looking out for the changes. We're just kind of looking for the trends right now, trying to get a better idea of what might happen. But we cannot determine exactly where it's going. All we know is the eastern coast impact has gone up. It could still theoretically be anywhere on the eastern coast. I mean, right now I would say it favors the southeast or mid-Atlantic. Obviously, I think that's what we could say right now. But that could change. Very, very much so could change. So I thought the trends today kind of supported more of a chance for the southeast to see this system. And that's definitely worrisome. That's definitely worrisome. But again, we cannot say what the exact path is going to be. We don't really know with any confidence exactly where it's going to make landfall. We just know there is definitely a higher risk for the East Coast because it does not look like there is much of a chance for it to turn out to sea. I mean, it could still, but there's just not much chance there for it to do so. It's really going to come very close or just flat out make a landfall. Looks like what we're looking at with this situation. But of course, these things do and will change. No telling, how much more change we're going to see. But anyway, the southwest trend is definitely a concern for the Carolinas, and really the southeast, mid-Atlantic, So we're going to be continuing to keep a lookout for this situation. We need to keep monitoring this very closely. I think the coastal residents should probably go ahead and have a plan in place. Maybe start some things to prepare just in case. And then if it really does look like it's coming your way, within the next day or two, you can really ramp up the preparations. But I would say, you need to have a plan in place and get started because this could be a very significant system. When it does make landfall, like if you look at the cone on the National Hurricane Center, it looks like it's going to be, according to this, according to the models, it's going to be a major hurricane out here coming toward the East Coast. So, any impact here is going to be significant. You're talking about, catastrophic flooding, storm surge, the whole 9 yards. It's just going to be really, really bad wherever it makes landfall. And you could see, and definitely, there could be a lot of impact well inland with high winds. You could have hurricane wind gusts going, a good ways inland with this system. So there's definitely a lot to keep track of here, a lot to look at. Don't get too caught up on exact path right now because we're not going to know that, and we may not even be close right now, to be honest. We're just going by our best information right now. But I remember last year with Irma, we had thought that was going to hit on the Carolinas, and then everything just kept shifting and shifting until it went down, way into South, until we figured out it was going to be in South Florida. So, I mean, these things can change a lot, you know. But the thing that I worry the most about is the upper air pattern and how much it supports, this kind of track, with the ridging. I mean, a northwest track toward the east coast is well supported with the upper air pattern, and the fact that we're looking at such a strong ridging complex in place. That's just a big problem. That's the big problem. Um, that's definitely not good, and that's what worries me the most. Is how well the upper air pattern supports, a potential, East Coast landfall system. So, like I said, we'll know more about this as we go further into the time. We'll have adjustments made and we'll know more about where it's going to head. But I mean, really, the whole East Coast should be on guard for this, and start thinking about what they need to do. Maybe start doing some preparations, and we'll have more idea about this as we go forward. In time, but this is definitely a very serious situation to monitor. I'm also going to show you the Hurricane Center page again because I lost where I was at. Hello, where did it go? There it. Let's go back here. Another thing I wanted to show you, the situation is we also have another tropical disturbance behind Florence way out here, and also a pretty good looking wave coming off of Africa. So definitely more things to watch as we head forward in time. So I just wanted to do a quick update about the situation and let everybody know what's happening. I'll try to do more updates if I can, and I just want everybody to take it seriously and and just keep a close eye on it. All right. All right, thank you. Have a good day.